What's happening, my subscribers and my viewers? Welcome back to another Halo Wars video. I have an exciting one for you guys. And it's actually going to be very educational. It is a 1v1 on Dux versus kihz. Probably the best UNSC that plays 2v2 and 3v3. Now you might ask, why are we playing a 1v1 on Dux? Well, I wanted to show the importance of scouting and how Cutter Mirror Match works on docks. And the Covenants play a huge role in kind of how it goes, but for the most part, I want you to see the strategical point of countering the other Cutter and seeing what he does and doing something different. So that being said, I'm going to try and explain what I'm seeing and what my thought process is while I see it. And I'm hoping this will help you guys. And this is exactly how we would have played in a real game and adapt exactly how we would have. So what I like to do on this map is I like to collect about 3 crate piles and then I like to scout. This is kind of like a habit that I do because that's kind of the time that I need to see his starting build. Around 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, you can kind of see what he's going to go for. So, that being said, defense usually has an advantage on whatever map. But what I'm going to tell you is, it depends on the map too, but if you don't have units to defend with, you lose. So on this map, you have to have units quickly. So that's just always a given. And that's why I tell people not to upgrade a bunch of heavy supply pads early, because you're not going to make the money till mid-game. And even if you do make some money, you're not going to get the units, and you'll get steamrolled. So you have to get the early units first. So after this crate pile, I scout, and I'm a little bit skeptical. I'm like, okay, what's kihz going to do? What's he going to do? And I will mention this right now, guys, before I get there. We played 2 of these, and kihz beat me the game before this. It was like a 25-minute game. It was pretty crazy. I didn't put that up because it would have taken forever. So we did another one. And yeah, so I'm scouting. He's got 3 supplies on his expo. Nothing scary there. That's pretty normal. So I'm checking. And I'm opting to do Reactor 5 main, Reactor 4 expo, because I want early tanks. And so he goes over there and he puts 5 supplies on his main. So I'm thinking heavy economy build. So I thought heavy build. Okay. So that means he's going to have a lot of money. So I thought to myself, okay, he's going to have a lot of money. So I need to get early tanks. But then he changes his build here to accommodate earlier reactors. So that if I tried to do early tanks and then just push, he'd be able to defend me off. Right? I'm having delays purposely, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my early tanks anyway, but I'm not going to do what I was going to do with the early tanks. See, him going 5 like that, I was going to push with the early tanks and I was going to try and finish him. So he adapted smartly here and decided to get earlier, to try and get tanks quick now. Because you can't just go for a quick economy on this map because you have to have the units to defend. Because otherwise he would have lost to an early canny push, which is what I'm doing here. So I'm going to have a delay on my main base again purposely, because if I build the supply pad, it doesn't make the money in time. And as we know that selling a supply pad does, I'm not going to call it a glitch. It's not a money glitch, but I mean, whatever. So he's going, so Kai switches up here and he goes for early third tech. So I'm thinking, okay, he won't have that many tanks, but he'll have an earlier canny. So he's compensating for the lack of tank lead by getting canny first. So that way if I tried to push early, he'd stop me. And then by the time I push up with a decent amount, he can stop me. So this is very smart on his part. So I noticed he down tech, so I thought, okay, he's down teching. So I know that I have no choice but to get canister now. And I tried to troll him a bit here. Not that it was going to do anything, but... so anyways, I'm going to get canny now because this is my only option now. I have to get canny right now, and I have to play defense. I can't push offense because his canny will be first. By the time I get Kenny, he will have enough tanks. And he has a slightly better economy, not by much, but I have more tanks. So I decided that he did a canny down tech, and this is what you guys got to realize. When you do a canny down tech, you have no choice but to push and win. You're gambling. But I'm going to down tech here. And you know why I'm going to down tech? Because I have more tanks, and I want to make sure I keep having more tanks. Okay? I want to make sure I have more tanks than him always. So I knew I had an early tank lead, and I knew that if I down teched with him, I would keep my tank lead. So thus, if he pushes me, I will be able to defend easily. Or if I decide to push, I will have that tank lead. I'll have the extra canisters. I'll try and drop his tanks. And I would like to say you don't want a down tech push. But he comes in, well, with his hogs here. And I try to get them, and I get them, which is good. Because I don't want him to keep scouting. I also have my hogs still on their side of the map, which is going to scout very soon. But I hope this is helping you guys. This is just stuff I see and I do automatically. I'm trying to put it into words why I'm doing things. So right now what I'm trying to do is, all I want to do is just keep trying to double pump, and I'm waiting for him to make a mistake by pushing. Because if he pushes and he tries to canny my pads or something, I can canny a tank and kill a tank. Or if he tries to simply come in, I'll have line of sight because he's at my base, and I'll be able to canny him. And so I know because he down tech that he's going to try and play aggressively. If he's not going to play aggressively, oh well, I'll get full pop and we'll both have full pop, and oh well. So he comes in right here and he cannies the pad. So I'm like, okay, he killed the pad. I'm using waypoints. So don't spam X, guys. I'm using waypoints. So I'm coming in and I want to get a tank. And I cannied and I killed a tank. Boom. I think I killed that tank. I'm pretty sure I killed that tank. If I didn't, I damaged him. So I got he killed a pad, but I killed a tank. To me, that's worth it. So I already had tank lead. Now I killed another tank. I got 5 tanks in the field. So, but I would say it was a mistake to canny that pad. It does hurt my economy very little. Like, it's not even worth mentioning. But it doesn't really matter, because obviously Covenants would play a role, guys. So you're probably like, well, there'd be Banshees, there'd be this and that. But you need to see the aspect of the UNSCs alone, and then I can show the Coveys alone. And then you will kind of start to see how it plays out. Like, why you wouldn't get Fortress on your Expo. I see this so many times. Don't do it, guys. It does not help you. It does not work. Okay, canny, and then I canny and split canny. And that was really good for me. So now I know he's got 2 red bars and I have tank lead. So I decide I'm going in. I'm doing this. I'm going to force my will. And you got to realize, you got to take small advantages like this and then realize when to push. So I knew that because I already had tank lead and then I red barred 2, that pushing is the smart thing. So I pull back slightly. I'm like, oh, maybe he's got enough tanks. Because he did have 4 tanks and I didn't know how close his other tank would be. So what you want to do is you want to wait for your reinforcements. I have a lead and I don't want to give the lead back to him. Okay? So I'm just like, I'll wait for my reinforcements. I have a tank lead. I'll always have this tank lead as long as I play smart. And always guys, try and heal your tanks and get them to the back, because units on the field are units on the field. You don't have to wait for them. Okay? So you don't want to lose them either. So and if he's behind the tanks and he's healing, he's also got a problem. So I've only had to heal once, and I'm sure that he's healing once already, so you know. And also, I'm just kind of waiting till I full pop, and then I'm going to push and try and win this game. But I'm also going to make sure that when I push, I have enough money for a Mag Blast. Because I know that if I have enough money for a Mag Blast with full pop, and I can get a good Mag, game is over. If I get a bad Mag, I can fall back, game is even, because I'm already ahead. You wouldn't try this trick when you're behind. A Mac can save you, and it can be really clutch, but if you miss, it can be bad. So I come in here and I canny, and then I get like a long-range canny snipe, which was awesome. And I have to say that I thought that canny was going to miss, and I remember guys saying, "What? How did you get me?" And I was like, I don't know, I cannied. So That was interesting. And all I know right now is I think we traded tanks again, and I'm checking to see if he's got heavies. I know he doesn't have heavies. That means he doesn't have Tech 3 again, and that means he's not going power turret, and that means he's just replenishing tanks, trying to keep his tank numbers up. So I got 9 tanks, almost a full pop, and I'm deciding, let's try again. So I come in, I get a canny, and I decide to go for this. I don't care anymore. I come in, and oh, I pulled back. Yeah, I guess he did have quite a few tanks there. I'm waiting for my reinforcements. Yeah, I'm waiting for my reinforcements. Okay, so as you can tell, this was a pretty epic game, pretty long game, and it's gonna end dramatically. I'm not gonna ruin the ending for you, but I really hope this helped you guys. And that doesn't mean that just because me and kihz did a down tech build that means you down tech, because that's not true. What it does mean is we down teched because of the situation we saw. Okay, he did a canister first because he saw I was going earlier tanks, so he adapted that way. But I saw he down teched, so I had to down tech. See? Now I didn't have to. I suppose I could have, stayed on defense, but I wanted to play aggressively because I knew I had a tank lead. And the only way I could have done that was to down tech with him to keep a tank lead so that I can keep pushing him and eventually have the tank lead. So all the little advantages that I took add up to this point. All right? So, like literally all the advantages I had led up to this point. And I'm just going for it now. I don't care. So I came in, I split all my candies, and I'm coming in. And right now, he drops a mech, and it does kill a tank and red bar another one. It hurt. I know it hurt. So I'm trying to micro, I'm trying to do all this stuff. And I'm coming in, and I pull my red bars back. Check this out, guys. I'm pulling all my red bars back. I have so many red bars. This ain't even funny. That I'm just like, maybe I can't win. Maybe I can't win. I was like, so I'm pulling out, right? Check this out. I'm pulling out. I'm like, I got too many red bars. And I decided, wait a minute. No. I don't care, man. I got these many tanks. He's only got 2. I'm going. Ah! And I go in and I canny and I like red bar 3 tanks with an all unit canny. And I was like, yeah! And I like killed all these tanks. And then I remember kihz was like, oh. And yeah, so this was a pretty epic game on kihz's part, and we played really well. And kihz, like I say, he played a really awesome game before. 25 minutes, we went back and forth strategically, and he did beat me. He did beat me. He did a really awesome push on my main that I didn't see him go through the main. Like, it was crazy. And anyways, guys, please comment, rate, subscribe, leave a like, tell your friends. Goodbye. Later.